Greetings and welcome to this week's edition of Trade Theory. This is Kevin Jefferson, the curator of Trade Theory here on Tuesday, April 7, 2026. This is the dollar index. Let me pick up with this really quickly. We have a lot going on in the international scene right now. Obviously, there's rumors of the U.S. attacking Iran further sometime in the next 24 hours. So this will be very timely to see how things play out. This is the dollar index, and as last week when I mentioned I had these two levels down here, that one of the possibilities is that price could temporarily dip and then return, or that it could move higher straight away. Price actually hit our 4-hour demand level, or was close to that at 99.15, which indicates still there's bullishness in the U.S. dollar. So I'm looking for strength in the dollar. And with that being said, I had to create an upside target. So I'm going to go out to the weekly and see what my first true upside target is for the US dollar, which is 103.67. So the 103, 104 area is my weekly supply level target off of the dollar. So I'd be buying the dollar today if I was investing or taking positions. Okay, let's move on to the 10-year Treasury TNX and see what's going on there. This is interesting because I think this should be another barometer of people's risk tolerance as well. Let me go down to the daily and show you that demand is waning for 10-year notes. And so we're at the target year that we had here, 4.31. What do we have? So the weekly demand level, meaning that demand could increase, would be down between 4.19 and 4.21. Yields could touch that level here in the next week or so, or it could continue straight away and it continue to go up. But right here we have a downside. It's at a very critical point to where yields can continue to rise, which would mean that there's less demand for the 10-year note. But down here on the downside, that may be the first possibility, getting down to 4.19 to 4.21 before any further moves. Let me move out to the weekly to see if I put anything in there. No. So yeah, I'd expect the yields to fall temporarily before rising again at some point in the near future. Okay, let's move on to Tesla. So Tesla was bearish, as I mentioned. I said you could short Tesla, and it has moved lower. So it's actually still moving lower. So this supply level I put here this morning was based on price, not where price was when the market was closed. So this is the supply level we're at, 379.81. So if you shorted or sold options on Tesla to the downside, you should be in profit now. So this is still going. Tesla's falling, and we'll watch it to see where our next area of supply would be, so that you can get in and catch this falling security while it's still going down. All right, moving on to NVDA. NVDA is kind of at an inflection point as well, and it hit our daily supply area last week of 177.84. Now it's pulling back off of there, so could look for NVIDIA to continue to fall as well. Now let me go out to the weekly chart, see if I put any notes on there for myself. Okay, so what we've got is, depending on what happens, ultimately price could get back up to 184.02. So if it does continue to rise, that's where I expect price to start stalling out for NVIDIA. But right now, as I'm looking at it, it's still actually bearish. So I would stand aside. I'd either be selling NVIDIA or standing inside. I would not be buying it right now. Okay, moving on to Bitcoin. Bitcoin is bearish, as we stated many weeks ago, and we have a short area. So if you didn't get in at this pullback point that I set from the 6th of February, which is right before, I think a couple weeks before the U.S. and Iran went to war, and that we had a second selling area on the 31st of March, which price is starting to fall now. So that's where I'd be shorting Bitcoin. And I have a downside target, just to be clear, of about 34,000 on Bitcoin by year's end, possibly. So I think that this could literally end up in half. 33,481 is kind of where I'm projecting price to get this year for Bitcoin. So I'd definitely be a seller. And matter of fact, I might go ahead and jump on that myself. Okay, WTI Crude, what is that looking like? Everybody is being impacted by oil prices, obviously, because oil goes into everything. So our daily demand level of 96.86 is what I said here. That's where I'm expecting price to retreat to. But we are obviously at a very interesting point to where, depending on what happens with the war, price could continue to blow through. But right now, it's right at that supply level of right at 106.19, which we set on the 31st of March. And depending on what happens with global events, we kind of can see where things will go. But if let's say that nothing major happens to the downside or negative, I'm expecting price to retreat back to 96.86 before it's making another decision. And at that point, I maybe would be a buyer of oil, but at this point, I'd be waiting because there's a lot of potential shocks to the market that could happen. All right, moving on to gold. Gold is still trying to find its way. I think it's bearish, but obviously part of a bearish move is a bullish move. And so the supply level that I'm looking at for gold right now is between 5,036 and 5,044 an ounce. And so we're looking for gold to rise to the supply level, and then we'd be shorting gold. So we're just going to watch, wait until it gets to this critical level, and then we'd sell gold right there. So I'm ultimately bearish on gold, but for the next couple of weeks until price gets where I want it to be, I'm bullish on gold. Okay, moving on to the US 30, which is also known as the Dow. Price is actually actually bullish, but it's playing with our daily supply level that we set last week of 46,256. And so if this bullishness holds, which we don't know if it will or not, but if it does hold, I have a weekly target of 48,748.69 for the Dow. Price could continue to drop. So today, I think this week is a crucial week to see what happens in the markets. But right now, actually, the Dow is showing, it's bearish on the day, but it's showing overall a little bullish. Okay, so let's be mindful of that. Okay, NASDAQ. Let's see, similar situation on NASDAQ. So we had a supply level up here at 24,066.40. Price is starting to fall here. So this could have been just a pullback for a continuation lower, which would make sense because obviously I think most people are more nervous than they are courageous right now. So to be buying would be only taking targets of opportunity. So with that said, people are probably taking targets of opportunity. I have a weekly supply level of 24,454 before making another move. So I'm standing aside on the indices right now until I get clarity because they're just bullish or just bearish. And this is actually still a bearish move for the NASDAQ. So that makes me believe that the Dow will probably continue to go lower as well. But maybe it'll go up because people are retreating from the technicals, the tech stocks, and moving towards different types of security. So, but the Nasdaq is bearish, and so I'd be looking to short that at this point right now. And then wrapping up with the S&P 500, we have price, which is also at an inflection point. We had a supply level here, 65.0119 on the 31st. Price has moved away from that. It's slightly bullish right now, but we don't know what's going to play out. So let's say if price continues to rise higher, which watching price over the next couple of days will let us know. We have a supply level target of 67.1921 for the S&P if it continues higher. But right now it looks like the market is trying to gain some steam and looking like it wants to try to go higher. So just be mindful of that. We have some other opportunities that are much clearer, so no need to take a shot in the dark. All right. Hope this has been helpful to you. Be on the lookout for the Vantage Point Macro newsletter, which will be coming out soon in the next couple of weeks. I know I've been mentioning this, but I'm really excited about this, where you'll get the weekly framework to see what the important things are in the market every Sunday in your inbox for free. And then you can subscribe at different levels for deeper levels of analysis for whether you're a portfolio manager, you're managing your own resources, or you're an asset allocator, family office, whatever it is. I think this is a great edge for you to possibly increase your yields on your assets. So we'll look out for that in the next couple of weeks. And until next time, enjoy the day and happy trading.